Hey guys, I'm going to do one more video in this suit today, and this is the 5th video I think. And I started with the Queen of England today, and that was like 4 days ago from what I'm going to do now. I'm going to do Warren Buffett, which is my favorite old man. Other than actually, I guess there's some actors, but out of like really rich people, he's probably my favorite rich person. And he's actually kind of goes back and forth for second or third richest person. He is. Let me give some facts. Which again, if you need to fact check me, go right ahead and you tell me in the comments. I will totally understand. But I believe he is the owner of Geico. Which, let me tell you what Geico is. Although a lot of people seem to already know. Even the advertisement says they already kind of know what Geico. I just was literally hearing an advertisement out there. It might not be Geico or what, but there's an advertisement. Geico is the guy. You've probably seen this little gecko thing, which is not a Geico, but a gecko. And he's like, you can save 15% or more on car insurance. Like, where have I heard that before? And I'm sure even people who barely go on YouTube or barely watch TV are like, I've heard that. And would it be on the radio? It would be on the radio. You literally can't escape hearing that. Probably some small child in Africa was never going to go into like a big city, but was going by maybe a hut, what did have a TV, which they're doing very well, and they just heard, save 15% or more on car insurance. And they might not understand what it said, or they might do, because a lot of people seem to know English, but they would be like, I've heard that before, but in their own language. So everybody's heard that line. That is from Geico. Now imagine with so many people hearing about that, the owner of that business would have. Now here's the thing though. It's kind of a fluctuant thing. It's car insurance. There's all types of competition. Bigger, better, sometimes worse, all of that. So actually makes most of his money, which is a lot of billions of dollars, and also he's again one of my favorite old people. I'll get back into that in a minute. But he makes it from stock market. I believe he is actually the best stock marketer in the whole world. Like, his stocks are the best stocks. And I mean, like, I'm not kidding. He's literally like, if anyone's good at stock marketing, you go to him and be like, well, you do this, and like, I just made $1,000, so I used to make like 10. Yeah, that's about what happens. Although I kind of make billions instead of millions. Yeah, I know that, but you're doing it. You say, I am doing this all the time, and I am elderly. I've done this for a while. I have Geico to help me do this. Like, yeah, he's really cool. Now, how do you know he's really cool? And I mean, again, I always talk about the positives. So if there's any negatives, you can go ahead and talk in the comment section about it. But this is only the positives here. Okay? The positives would be, he's really smart about getting his kids to be smart themselves. So you know how most people who aren't billionaires be like, I'm going to buy my kid a car, and it's going to be a decent car. And even some people are like, I want to buy this kid a BMW, or, I mean, some really stupid money. And you're like, I don't think that's going to teach you the value of a dollar. But I'm going to do it anyway, because I have the money, and it's not going to matter in the end. Well, Warren Buffett, who no matter what, it really shouldn't matter if he buys them a Bugatti, he doesn't buy them a car at all. And I mean, I swear some of them are going to take over the business later, so it's not like they're not going to have money. He just doesn't give them a car. And he's like, you need to get a job. And like, what? And I'm pretty sure one of them was probably, but we don't need to ever, no, you're going to need to work, because I'm actually planning on giving all my money to charity once I die. And they're like, why? Because you need to get your own money. I mean, I'm going to give you a business so you can work on it, but you need to learn how to do it yourself. Like, okay. And so, I mean, I'd pretty be surprised if you find out one of them worked at McDonald's for a little bit. Of a job, but most people are like, I don't want to work at McDonald's. Most even the corporate CEOs probably don't want to work at McDonald's. It's McDonald's. Everyone knows it's not very healthy. Now, if it was the CEO who made the salads, then that guy is pretty dang cool. He's like, made a salad. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. And honestly, McDonald's food isn't really that bad. It's not bad. It's just not the healthiest food in the world. It's not, I mean, protein shakes aren't really healthy either. So, I mean, there's not much healthy, but it's not a good tomato. A good homegrown tomato is really good. And believe it or not, ketchup apparently helps your prostate, man. So I don't know what that exactly means, but I do know that is important. So that is cool to know. Remember to eat ketchup when you can. Good ketchup, not false bait ketchup, which I don't know if, I don't think McDonald's does that, but ketchup, good stuff for the prostate. Now, back to the point. Warren Buffett. He is awesome. And he also does something what is a bit odd to some people, but to me it's like, dude, this guy is awesome. He was in like a relationship with his wife and another lady, but they all agreed it was polynamous. And it is odd. I won't lie, and he probably is, yeah, it's different than most people. But they all loved each other. They loved him, and I think they were great friends, so whatever. And then when his old wife died, he just had the other wife, who was a little younger. So, I mean, it works out. It's just kind of like, well, I wouldn't say a backup. They both loved each other. They loved each other equally. All three of them probably did. So, it's just good to keep the thing going. And I'm sure we'll all meet up in heaven. Because let me tell you, Warren Buffett's like, I have like, $80 billion. It's not going to hurt to put like $10 billion of that in charities. And when I die, I can't tell you many rich people who, when they die, are going to be like, here's all my billions. None to my family who doesn't need it because they'll have a business. Here's literally all of these billions to a lot of things. I wouldn't be surprised if some big things happen when he dies, just because so many good charities are going to make a lot of money. It would be really cool, really cool if cancer gets cured, because I thought one of the charities is going to give us to cancer and be like, man, a couple billion just dropped on there all of a sudden. Man, this guy might have died, but he just cured cancer. That would be awesome. That would be Warren Buffett be like, hey guys, I'm out, but so is cancer. Yeah. And I don't know if he would talk like that. He's kind of like the Queen, very good with manners, very respectable elderly man. He's one of the few people I wouldn't mind marrying my grandma, even though he's had relationships before. Because a lot of people I know who've had like so many, a lot of people who do have problematic relationships don't usually respect both equal partners the same, which is weird. But he did, I think, and honestly, Grandma is a nice lady, and I think they would get along, and they're both 80-something, so it'd be like, oh, well, hey, I've been trying to marry my grandma for a while. I want a grandpa, okay? I want a grandpa, has to be 80 or 90, and he has to be doing good, and a respectable person. And I'm watching, okay? But grandpas are cool, grandmas are cool, and you know who else is cool? Warren Buffett. And yeah, and hopefully, I think other rich people are nice too, at least I hope they are. We'll do another video on the richest person, who I think is Jeff Bezos. And he has Amazon. Let's get this. Because Amazon is a company that, might have some issues, but it's really been helpful lately because, and there's a phone going. It's been really helpful because, it's COVID. You can't really go out, and Amazon's all like an online thing. I don't know if he was the one who thought of it, but he's the one who capitalized on it. Because there was eBay, but then Jeff Bezos is like, I'm going to try to make this a little better and work it in a business sense. And then he did. And now he is the richest person. He is very up there with the amount of money the Walmart. You all know what Walmart is. And you all know the guy who started it was like, I'm just going to make a shop that doesn't sell anything particular. It's going to sell everything. And so it sells everything. And like, whoa, that is a lot of stuff, yeah? And we all have different prices, but it's everything. And so everyone came, and he had $100 billion worth now back then, which wasn't $100 billion. It was more like $1 billion, maybe $2 billion. But back then, it was like worth $100 billion now, because inflation stuff. And the richest person I ever heard about wasn't John D. Rockefeller, who would be $300 billion worth now. That guy literally I am going to rule the economy. And if anybody questions me, I don't know. Maybe they will just go away. And so, he literally, he probably was the closest thing to someone who was individually other than the president controlling the government, because he's John D. Rockefeller. It's just a joke, but One Piece has D. Everyone with a D is important. John D. Rockefeller. I don't know. Oda might have been onto something. I don't know. He's a character who made the manga. He's pretty cool. Anyway, point is, the richest person ever was a pharaoh. I don't think his name was Mussolini, but he had $400 billion worth now. And you need to understand, back then, having $400 billion worth, there were wars over his treasures. Literal wars over one guy's belongings. Nobody would fight a war over most people's stuff. And this is a group of people, not just one person wanting to rob. This is literally a war between countries fighting over a group of stuff that is not a country's, but just stuff. It's like, but why though? It's cool he had that, but couldn't we all just share it a bit or use it to help the economy? I don't know. But it's weird. But anyway, just talked about the rich people I like. Jeff Bezos is, I guess, cool. I don't know much about him. You guys can put in the comments what you don't like about him, and go ahead and do the same thing with Warren Buffett. But he's my favorite. Warren Buffett is a little old man, and he's like, you know what? I'm a little old man. I'm gonna do what I need to do, and I'm gonna help who I need help, and he helps a lot. Almost like Bill Gates. And I will get in a totally different video about Bill Gates because there's a lot to go on. But he is fighting disease man, and I do like him. Bye, guys.